Just want to let everybody know that we do have a preparedness plan, and that plan it's referred to as the Model Disaster Preparedness Risk and Risk Management Plan for Fisheries and Aquaculture sector of the CRFM member states. And that model plan is available to our member states that they can customize it and use it for their own use in their countries. And most of the information that I'll share with you will come from that. The Model Fisheries Disaster Risk Management Plan, it does contain 4 sections. It's for disaster prevention and mitigation, disaster preparedness, which is what we're focusing on today, disaster response, and disaster recovery. So a picture of it is there, and member states can access it and use it at their wish. The definition that we use for preparedness is that persons have the knowledge, the capacities developed by government professionals and others, individuals, to respond and recover in the event that something happens, that some disaster happens. And we're focusing on hurricanes this week. So in the event that a hurricane comes up, pops up, or is in progress. And we talk about disaster preparedness, which means preparing the response of the organization, of the communities long before, right? So that when it does happen, that you have something in place that you can activate, right? And that includes planning for and training and doing drills to make sure that you understand what you're about when the event actually happens. The fishers and the fishing industry, we are quite vulnerable because not only do we lose our fishing equipment, we lose everything, meaning we lose all the investment that we would have made in assets, in boats, in gears, all of those. We also lose most of the time our homes because most of the time the fishers are right on the coast. They also, if they have a business running on the beach, they lose that as well. Also, the communities are right there, so you lose everything. You lose community, you lose home, you lose equipment, you lose everything. And so the fishing industry and our fishers, they're quite vulnerable. Therefore, this is highly important to us. And I look at some of the things that do happen. I just have here some stats on some of the hurricanes that would have passed through. We talk about Doran in the Bahamas, Category 5, and we talk about just damages to vessels, 4.9 million. Antigua and Barbuda, we talk about 94,000 just for vessels alone. Grenada, Carriacou just happened, burial the other day, 2024. And that the total cost of just Carriacou alone was about 3.7 million that was lost and that did not include infrastructure. Therefore, preparedness is very important to the fishing industry. And so the important concepts at the national, because remember, we're a regional body, and so we tend not just to the national, but to the regional aspects of things as well. So important concepts, both at the national and regional level, is that, first of all, think about it, we must plan. And when we plan, we involve our stakeholders in planning and the decision making. Secondly, we must engage early warning systems. Thirdly, we must enhance public awareness and response capacities. Fourthly, we make clear the roles and responsibilities of individuals, organizations, different entities. And 5, we must situate disaster preparedness within a holistic risk reduction context. So those are some clear concepts when we think about preparedness in the fishing and aquaculture industry. What are some of the best practices that we start out with in terms of individuals? We encourage our fishers, our farmers, aquaculture farmers to stay informed. They must carefully follow all the official information from authorities, and they must be informed, keep themselves up to date on what is happening in terms of the weather system. And of course, I don't have to stress this for fishers too much. They do know, because on a daily basis, you have to look at what is happening out there before you even put out your boat to go. So we encourage everybody to stay informed, especially now at this time. We encourage everybody to be aware of the risk, safeguard against hazards such as high winds and so on and so forth, heavy rainfalls and so on. And this involves taking stock of what you have, and especially where you can ensure, you make sure that you do that. And whatever you can do to safeguard your assets, you put that plan in place, have it ready so that when it's time, you can activate it. And thirdly, we encourage everybody to make a plan, as I hinted above. You make a plan, an individual plan. Yes, you have a national plan, but each person should know, each fisher should know what it is that you're doing, how you're going to secure yourself, how you're going to move your assets around, how you're going to fix yourself so that you can be protected when the time comes. Some other best practices, because we were asked specifically about securing vessels. So I just have a few here to whet your appetite. Those of you who are joining this webinar, if you want to get the full details, we have a whole section on fisheries and aquaculture on the 30th. So you'll need to come to that to hear more details and to ask all your questions. But just to give you an idea, so for vessels, we say to our fishers, identify a safe storage location. It could be dry storage. It could be a protected marina or a harbor, hurricane holes, or so on and so forth. Usually you can check with your fisheries division in your member state, and they will be able to help you with that, where it would be safe to store if it's not going to be a dry storage. Dry storage means you move it from the water and put it somewhere in a warehouse or so on where it's safe. It could also be an area that has a history of providing a safe refuge during storms, and boat could also be moved close to your house or to your building. Wherever it is that you put that boat, you need to secure it. You can fill the boat with water or sand. If it's on land, of course, if it's in water, you would know that because of course it would sink. But on land, you could fill the boat with water or sand to weigh it down. You could use tie downs, metal brackets to secure the entire unit to the ground. You could strip off and remove all loose or movable assets, etc., from the boat. Don't let what you see happening in these pictures be your boat if you're a fisherman. In terms of gears, we encourage fishers to remove fish pots and gears out of the water at the first warning. And this is to prevent ghost fishing, because once those pots or those nets or so on get cut off in the water, then they could be ghost fishing for years. Next, if you remove the boat from the water, you can also remove all the other things from the boat. So you will have whatever you have on the boat, remove it, especially those things that can fly around and turn into missiles. One more slide, and this one is just a little bit about aquaculture. So securing your aquaculture facility and your aquaculture endeavors, ponds and so on, before the hurricane, we encourage people to remove your pumps and so on and store them. We ask you to feed your fingerlings and so on, and ensure that you have some feed ready, because after the hurricane, that would be probably very hard to find. Make sure you secure your feed properly. Close down your water supply from streams, clear areas around your ponds, and afterwards clear debris in and around your aquaculture ponds. Check your water system to see if it's functioning. Remove dead fish from the ponds, very important. Transfer fish to cleaner water, etc., etc. So these are some of the practical things that you can do. And as I said before, if you want to hear the fine details and to be able to ventilate your questions properly, please join us on Friday, May 30th. where we have a section totally devoted to fishing and the fishing industry and aquaculture. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. June.